Monday. Blazer is also producing this today. So, yeah, we got Blazer behind the scenes and we got Pops. He's definitely, if you guys have not or do not know, Pops has a cryptid panel. Gary Spikes. It's going to be on Monday, the second Monday of every month, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, 9 p.m. They have a great group of people. I definitely encourage you to tune on in for those. Hey, Andrew, nice to see you. Judy Wheeler, great to see you. Let's see here. I'm trying to. I don't have. Oh, Blazer is going to yell at me. I don't have my glasses on. Blazer, you forgot to remind me. And we got Cindy, who is Bigfoot. She's also on Pops's panel, Gary Spikes' panel. Yeah, we had a lot of fun last time. Baldo, did you change? You changed something. It's nice to see you. Welcome. Ashes, nice to see you. Let's see here. I know I saw. Hey, Diane. Diane always brings a smile. She's absolutely wonderful. And I really appreciate you guys going in and doing all that you do. And then afterwards going and commenting. It helps so much. And I do appreciate it. And Chiro sounds Jane. If you guys have not, go over and definitely subscribe to her and Midwest Night Watchers. They have a great channel also. And Kurt W75 is in the house. Nice to see you, Kurt. Let's see here. Lori, I'm glad you're doing better. Just a little housekeeping really quickly. If anybody is interested in doing the disclosure desk, basically it wouldn't be it'd be a 45-minute show. We go and talk about your experience, in that way it kind of connects you to the community. So if anybody's interested, please jot that down and I'll try and keep track of that. Jason Finch is in the house. Nice to see you, buddy. Great to have you. And then JT Truth Seeker and Gary C. We got like 3 Gary C's, but we got Gary Carpenter tonight. Nice to see you. Welcome, welcome. And let's see. I know I saw a few more. I just don't want to miss anybody as I'm going down. Oh, okay. Yes. There we go. We got hooking. Great people, absolutely great people that are in here tonight. I love it when you guys show up. Let's say. Oh, Benno. We got Benno. Benno, you changed your picture again. I'm going to have a crisis or identity crisis pretty soon here with you. Yeah, Benno's in the house. Benno too. Yeah, if you're interested or this week works better for you, let me know for the disclosure desk. I was going to move on until I saw you in here. You're probably wishing that I had. And I know I saw Hillbilly Herb. It's great to see you and welcome. And we have Esteem. Welcome. Yeah, it's great to see a lot of new faces. If you have not already, make sure you hit that like, subscribe, share, and the notification bell. And we'll definitely, we got some fun stuff coming up. Midwest Night Watchers. And if I missed you, I apologize. I will go back in. I just don't want to leave poor Jeff back there any longer than I have to. But yes, again, welcome everybody. Tonight we have another experiencer on, Jeff Selver. He is absolutely amazing. He wrote the book The Rise. He talks about in contact events. He's had quite a few of them with Grays, and he's doing a lot. I mean, I'm going to let him tell his own story because he's so wonderful at it, and I don't want to flub it up. But yeah, without further ado, Jeff is absolutely great. He has a YouTube channel. I definitely encourage you to go and follow him over there. He's on Facebook. He's very reachable, very, very reachable, and very cool. Has a cool story. So welcome, Jeff.
Hi, Coley. How you doing?
Hi. Yes, welcome. I'm sure you heard back there, but I feel like you have such a great, I don't want to take away from it. You've had, what is it, 26 contact events with
26 contact events with gray aliens. That's right. Yeah.
So that's awesome. I mean, like, I can't remember all those. So for people who don't know you, why don't you let them know who you are and what you do?
Sure. Okay. Yeah, my name is Jeff Selver, and I was not an aliens and UFO guy. That's the way I frame it. Worked at a bank, financial advisor. Had a stint in corporate motivational leadership. 2019 came around, and actually, let's back up. I had a weird event happen when I was 20 years old in the year 1997. So I call it a consciousnness event. It changed. Let's just say it was. It altered my inner world. It altered myself, and it was spiritual, but it had some other side effects, like seeing the light of my cells, seeing the cells of my body having light in them, and so it's weird things like that. It and anyway, it compelled me to travel and leave my life, kind of abandon my life. And when I did, I started seeing anomalous activity in the sky, orbs and objects. So I had a close encounter about 6 weeks in to traveling with a red orb, and then that night I felt like something had happened and I didn't know, and that was my 8th contact event, and I wasn't even aware I had previous contact. So yeah, it was interesting, and then so throughout that 2.5 year period of traveling, I was seeing activity in the sky, anomalous activity, and then it all stopped when I met my to be wife. I followed my to be wife back to Toronto, and that was it. It all the weirdness stopped, and I lived out my life normally. And then, yeah, 2019, that anomalous activity came back just as it did while traveling. The kind of weird orbs and stuff I was seeing in the sky, and it was the one kind of like ushering, hey, look at these memories. And so everything is documented, everything is recorded, everything is public. Researchers have gone down the rabbit hole of several different researchers have gone down the rabbit hole of my contact events. I have people who vouch for me publicly. So yeah, everything is documented, how it all kind of unraveled. But July 1st, 2019 was the day that I um, uh, basically discovered that I had alien contact, and that what had happened in my past was kind of obscured, and the weird consciousness event was initiated by them. And yeah, and those objects I was seeing while traveling, some of them were the remnants of a contact event, and I wasn't aware of it. So yeah, that's basically it. I spent a year trying to understand all the memories as everything kind of broke apart, and then all I was doing was just talking about it to UFO groups, and I started recording all the details about every single contact event, all the knowledge I had about where they had occurred. Nothing happened, by the way, bedside. All of it was out hiking, or when I was with friends, or there were events that will happen when I was a teenager while coming home from hanging out with friends. So everything had a physical marker, and I was able to go back to a lot of the locations. I filmed all that, recorded all that, and so yeah, it was a lot more. It helped produce a lot of the detail, and that was it. I kind of started collecting all that information and felt compelled, or felt like it should be turned into a book, and turned out they were the ones telling me to do that. There was a contact event which they wanted that, and that's it. The book came out in 2022, and that's basically how it starts. Yeah, and I've just been doing research and research. I've been trying to understand what had happened to me. There's a lot of different avenues you can go down with all the UFO phenomenon. So that's what I do. I am stuck with what's happened to me, and what happened to me, and learning about the things that they talked about. They talked about their agenda, or at least what they plan to do here. And I had a plethora of a wide variety of experiences, and it seems to lend interest on their behalf why they would want me to be public, because I can speak about a lot of different facets of the phenomenon, and so that's what I do now.
Yeah, you do an amazing job at it. I can't tell you like how cool it is to see your journey and how
Mhm.
far you've come. I mean, like it just is amazing that you're doing it, and it's not easy for people who've not had to come out to their community and be like, "Hey, I'm the crazy UFO person." It's not
Yeah,
easy to do. I didn't
yeah,
want to do
no,
it.
yeah, thick skin. That's what you have to have, thick skin.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But for me, I guess it became like so it just I couldn't get past it. It was like it nagged at me and nagged at me. I was like, "Okay, all right, here we go." And then people be like, "Now you don't have to ask, do you?" Every time we go. And I was like, of course I do." It just is a part of who I am. But I thought that once I could, whatever reason they said I was here for communication, once I did my part, I thought I was out of this. I thought I was
Right.
going,
Yeah.
no, no, this
Same
is
thing.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah, you probably
Same
thought you're
thing.
like, "I'm out of here."
I'll do this for like a year or two, and then I'll be gone. And yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and the reality is, as the information in the public sphere changes, or becomes more open, it gives more reason, it gives more meaning to what happened to you. So then you're compelled by helping people, or at least people learning about what the UFO field, or UFOs, or aliens are all about. So yeah, it's kind of
Mhm.
a interesting game that I thought I would be out of, and
Yeah,
no,
I know.
I'm not out of. Yeah,
Nope, not by
yeah,
long
7
shot,
years in, I
yeah.
think I'm, yeah, not out yet. So
Well, I know that too. I've never had any negative experiences from the gray, but I'm sure you get some pushback in the community from that. I think everything's like it resides on a spectrum, but I have to say that with my experience as well, I had nothing but benefits, like
Yeah,
health
yeah,
benefits. I had
yeah,
everything,
yeah.
and I heard you say I can't remember which show you were doing, but I happened to catch it, and you're like, maybe the great, they're taking you in to have like necessary surgery like you would have from a doctor or you would have
Right,
from, and I really found that like that for whatever reason really stuck with me. And I was like, no, that's a very valid point because you're
right.
trying to put together a mush of like, you know, I don't even know, segments of time and it's so I got stuck in those memories for so long.
Right, right.
It's very easy to happen. Finally, I let go of those and I was able to kind of move forward, but it's just a process. It really is a process. But yours
Yeah.
is very different, like your mission here. So, do you want to tell everybody about like the enlightenment or like the ET? I think this is amazing. Like I hear this.
Um, sure. I mean, I guess you mean just if there is a mission, what that the basically, the
Mhm.
plethora, I guess, of different things that they did with me, why that, how that
Well,
gets
did they give you
created,
they
right?
gave you a mission,
They
right?
just they told me to make the book public. That was they told me to put all the content, tell your world what happened. Basically, was the idea of what we did with you, and make a book. And they explicitly said I can't remember the full details, but you'll know when you have an ISBN number. Like they knew those details. Gray aliens were like an ISBN number, and like a book has an IS. Like I didn't know what an ISBN number was, right? So they wanted me to make the put all the contact into a physical book that I could share with the world, and really what happened to me. And now all these years later, yeah. So an example of that is I had an experience where they showed me the afterlife, and that's how they created the consciousness event that happened to me in 1997. Was
Mm.
unbeknownst to me, I had seen the afterlife on Craft, and so they had a whole process that they did that with. But now, all these years later, that's a grounding for me when I talk and communicate about the phenomenon. That and it you know it's obvious we're dealing with a paranormal element to this phenomenon,
Mhm.
a thinner dimensional aspect to the phenomenon. This isn't just physical bodies anymore. This isn't, we have Congress people admitting this now. This isn't just physical bodies. And the phenomenon, I'm telling you, resides in the afterlife, or at least it can interact with those dimensional spaces. So that gives me a strength, right? What happened to me couldn't have happened unless that was a reality. So
Right.
I have a part of me that physically knows. I didn't just see some holograms. I didn't just see
Mhm.
some illusion created by aliens. I'll go to my deathbed that I saw the afterlife on Craft, and then the aliens used it, and the aliens were there in the afterlife. So yeah, so that just gives a really
That's interesting. And you've
it gives
passed a polygraph test.
I've passed a polygraph test. That's correct. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, and then I have them floating around my home, and I've been able to film them and request that they can be filmed, and then they show themselves, and that's all on camera. So yeah, I am the real deal. But
You are the real deal.
but then when you kind of get why maybe I had to do pass a lie detector test and why they're still around, giving that proof, because this sounds totally bonkers, but then in the end it helps people understand some aspects of what we're dealing with here. If you can at least start to grasp that I don't know a single human who knows what the afterlife is.
Right.
We might have some research behind it through various means, but I haven't met a single human who can grasp it yet. And yet somehow the entities are there. We just might be dealing with something we can't grasp, something that's hyperdimensional, something that might be, utilizing the purity of the afterlife, and that might be a part of why they can't interact with us. So ends up creating a new twist to the story that fits. And now of course I rely on some of the words of some of these uh I don't know what you'd call Bob Bigelow, but he said the phenomenon is connected to the afterlife. Ross Coulthart now has said the phenomenon was connected to the afterlife, and
Oh, wow.
I went public with that 2020, and Bob Bigelow
Mhm.
said it in 2022 or something, and then Ross Coulthart said it 2023. So I take those quotes, but that's what we're dealing with here, is something so extreme is going into these other dimensions.
Yeah, I agree.
And so that gives me a solid grounding, and I can see now why, all these years later, why the aliens were like, tell the world about this stuff. And so it helps, at least in some context, of creating a picture about what we might be dealing with here.
I like that you do, because as I was saying before, behind stage, people who got or are experiencers, they either started off a medium or they got,
Right.
this intensified shortly right before or right after. And it
Yeah.
is the thing. So you have to think that it is connected. There's no doubt in my mind that it's not connected.
Oh, and like, okay, all the experiencers I know have some element of the paranormal in their life.
Mm.
So, and it's well documented, actually, right? Like Jim Sparks, Carla Turner, Whitley Strieber, right? And never mind, any other smaller experiencer, Susie Hansen and myself. Like I had poltergeist activity going on in my home. And never mind, you have places like Skinwalker Ranch, which are just crossovers with cryptids, poltergeist, and UFOs. And never mind that the cryptids always are now recorded, well known that the paranormal crosses over with the cryptids, and sometimes people see UFOs with the cryptids. So
Yeah.
you definitely have that dimensional spaces are definitely being interacted with by the aliens, and when we call them dimensional, I think we should be looking there first, because that's what I think is what we're up against, is something that is thinner and therefore is working with space time in a slightly different way, that materializes as, or manifests as, poltergeist like activity or paranormal like activity.
Yeah, because you talk to so many people. I mean, like, even Steve Mira, like, he talks about it and he's like, these, it's all the same. And they measure
Yeah.
things. He's like, the way that it's coming out and the
Yeah.
activity is, and I had my spirit box out because I started off in the paranormal, and I had my
Mm.
spirit box out and it would tell me when there was something outside. And sudden I'm like, did that thing just say there was a UFO outside? And I went out and sure enough, there was. And I was like,
Oh yeah.
they have to be connected.
No,
They
they
have
are
to be.
totally connected, and it's electromagnetic, and there's something, spiritual realm is tied to electromagnetic. That's why these ghost hunters, they use these devices, EMFs and stuff, right? So, yeah, and then they've been measuring the electromagnetic field effects of UFOs since, we know, since like the Roswell days, right? They had EMF readers that were trying to attempt with some of these things. So, and I think it was Betty and Barney Hill, who, I think one of their stories was, they didn't know who to call, so they called someone, a military person, and the person said, measure the electromagnetic field of your car. So, and this was in the early days, so they already knew something electromagnetic was responding to this, and that affects consciousness. And then, yeah, so there's something. I mean, for me, it's a no-brainer that that's part of the dimensionality of the aliens, is something to do with the paranormal. And I presented at a UFO con last, like, couple months ago, and I made a really, in part of the presentation, I'm talking about the origins of the aliens, but I'm making a big connection that, the paranormal seems to be, it's geographically linked, right? So there's a weird geographical element. Ghosts haunt a location. So even if you're dealing with the thinner environments of the universe, that stuff is, whatever that dimension is, it's locating itself to a geographical location. And then the other is that time seems to act very strangely in the paranormal realms. Well, we are dealing with something from the future. That's what I've been talking about this for a while now. The aliens, for me, are from the future. And if you're dealing with paranormal, the time seems to bend differently. And we have tons of cases of time, the past being frozen or locked into place in the paranormal realm. Gettysburg is one of the most haunted locations in the world. And I've
Yeah.
heard tons and tons of stories of people coming upon scenes of the Battle of Gettysburg, right? Where they kind of stumble into a room in one of the buildings, the mansions, and it's like a medical scene from the 1800s, right? Or something like that. So yeah, these are, the time does weird stuff in these paranormal realms, and you can almost kind of start imagining they're utilizing this dimensional aspect of the paranormal, and somehow time is bending, or they've bent time, and they are now coming from the future space using the paranormal. So yeah, humans are like, we're out of our league, is what is going on here.
Oh,
So yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we're just talking about this now, and people have been interacting with aliens for decades. So you're thinking, right, we're just taking forever to figure this out.
This is the furthest I've seen it come in with
Yeah,
on like, I mean, to the point of where I'm like, wow. They
yeah,
I didn't think, I mean, it was so slow and it was so daunting, but then I
yeah,
worry. I'm like, is the government going to try and take this,
yeah.
and they don't waste a good opportunity.
Something is not right now. Yeah, something is
Yes.
fishy, and yeah, and yeah, I don't like what's happening either. Yeah,
Mm-mm.
yeah.
No, it
The one,
leaves like an unsettling. I can't shake it, but
yeah.
yet I can't pinpoint it.
Yeah, yeah, and the ones who were deceiving and lying to the public are now the ones the public is looking for the correct answers, and they're kind of still
Oh.
not fully giving you the full answers, and they're still kind of confusing people, and yeah, it's like,
Oh,
all
I
right,
know, I
yeah,
know. I have to
yeah,
stop myself because I'm
yeah,
like, I was once there, but they're not, you're in over your head if you're going that
yeah,
route. You are in over your head.
yeah.
And too, I always pose the question. I'm like, so what if you came out and you saw, I don't know, a ton of UFOs in the sky? What are you going to do? And I'm saying I'm going back in my house and I'm calling each and every person I know. And if you can't go out there and look and be normal and handle it, I'll let you know when it's over. Like, it just, the people's response is what really gets, like, I don't know, that's what gets me sitting on the edge of my seat anyway.
Yeah, yeah. I'm always of the mind that they were supposed to have warmed us up earlier, and then so yeah, the aliens gave me a framework in my story and about what's going on here. And I won't speak about it if I ever prove it to be wrong. And right now, I feel like there's enough evidence that it's still accurate. And yeah, if there might be a cataclysm coming, and then you have to ask if the government knows that,
Yeah.
is what kind of going on is that they're trying to save themselves, and then they're trying to like that's the only thing I got is that they are hoarding. And when you start looking at this science, the way they're handling these scientists, and they're building bunkers and stuff like that, you're kind of questioning, are they gonna do something and then leave us hanging while something happens that they knew about and then didn't tell the population about? So
Yeah, no, I agree. They're gonna
yeah.
save themselves. They're not saving
Yeah.
us, that's for sure.
And that's the only thing I can observe right now is going on. Like, what? There's no really, really other reason to not just be straight up eventually to some degree. Yes, humans can't handle some element of the science. I agree with that, and I agree with that the scientific aspect of it, uh, or the our own personal sciences will be okay. Never mind sciences, just religion and everything will be
Mhm.
upended. But you could go about it gently about how the population needs to know that information. You could do that. You could spend time and energy on that and make it concerted and clear. But what would be the reason for you to not even do that? Right? Because what all you have now is you have a guy, you have David Grush, you have a guy, Lou Elizondo, a guy, a
Mhm.
single dude, you know what I mean? Like we're depending on
Yeah.
the word of a single guy to rewrite history for us. It doesn't make any sense unless they're trying to hoard the information and keep things for themselves. Like the behavior that they're
Mhm.
having too. I agree that they should be doing it, and I feel that they feel that they're doing the right thing, and I agree they are doing the right thing, but the whole mystery behind it still is not clear. and
Mm-mm.
and yeah, it's just yeah,
I don't know. I sit there and I hope they're doing the right thing, but then a part of me is like they use and have used everything in their ability in their own way, and it's all about control. It has
yeah,
nothing to do about the what's in the best benefit of humanity. It's how we're going to control the situation. I said, If you can even go back, you can look back and see." I'm like, so we got something that's going around in our skies that holds global air dominance, holds air superiority over our black aces, our top guns, and we're like just observing it. We're not
yeah,
trying to. I'm like, how is that even a normal response for
yeah.
somebody that doesn't know?
I think David Grush kind of said it really well, that when it first started, when this first how to handle this mystery or how to handle the phenomenon. And for me, it's clear there was a meeting. I believe I 100% will still always believe in an Eisenhower meeting. I've done my
Mhm.
due diligence research on that, and I think that there's evidence for it. I mean, it might be circumstantial evidence, but there's a lot of people who were talking about it at a certain period. Colonel Corso is one of them. Roswell's real now, and Colonel Corso's
Mhm.
information appears to be right. Colonel Corso said that there was an Eisenhower meeting. So yeah, and his son, people should be listening to his son, because his son says this is not an alien cover up. This is a time travel cover up. So
Yes.
yeah, that's a really wild thing for him to be saying. So yeah, I'm highly convinced that there was an initial communication. I'll always live in the world where the aliens were always too much for humans. It was always too much. It was always too dimensional, too paranormal, too wild. And so humans didn't know how to handle it. And so there's almost some empathy you can have. But then maybe, we're in the 50s. So they don't really know how to handle this. And they create structures that now just were solidified over decades. And then when you have people who maybe have the heart to tell the world, they're looking at it like a David Grush maybe and are saying, at all cost, we need to tell the people. But now how do you tell them when you lied about it? Right?
Yeah.
Like, so there's a weird game that they might have to play. But I believe that what I also believe too is the aliens wanted the population to know the information, and then they kept it for themselves. I always live in that space too, because I feel like that answers for me most about all the weird perplexities about the phenomenon. UFO crashes that were relentless throughout the decades. Never, nuclear, UFOs over nuclear sites and over military sites would all make sense under a context of they want people to know, but it's too big, it's too large. And then this government said, we'll take care of it. We'll figure it out how to tell the public. And they tried to. I believe it. I believe ET and the day the Earth stood still and Star Trek were all attempts to warm some of these ideas up for the public. And then, but I think that a Dick Cheney era came along. They really decided to find a way to keep it for themselves, and
Yeah.
maybe they could pull a fast one over the aliens, right? So yeah, that's why I think that that's the case too, because of the dogwood crop circle, which is the crop circle that, by the way, no one ever claimed it to be a hoax, right? It's the one with the binary coded information, and it's
Oh, yeah.
too complex to be for a human. And the message is, right, we oppose deception, right, conduit closing, so that there was something here communicating and saying something's
Mhm.
going to happen, and then we're dealing with people who you think you're trying to deceive us. So there was a weird communication, as if it was communicated to a body who knew what was going on. Well, kind of looks like there is that now. So that crabwood crop circle appears to maybe have been legit, and it wasn't pleasant what it was saying. So yeah.
A lot of it isn't, and not everything is gonna be lollipops and rainbows,
Yeah,
that's not the reality of what's going
it's not.
on.
It's not. Yeah, it's not at all, actually. And that's what I think they were trying to warm up. And they're humans. Maybe that's the whole point, is that they were just
Right?
being human.
Even and this is definitely the human experience,
Yeah.
and I'm telling you, it's a bit weird and different for me. I have never felt more uncomfortable than I have, like, coming on to the past few years. It's just
Yeah.
like,
Right. Yeah.
where am I? Is this the upside
Yeah.
down world? Are we, like,
Yeah.
is this a good place? Like, I don't know what to even call it, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's definitely for sure. And the thing of it is that I think it's numbing the people too, because I hear so many people, and we've been lied to so many times. I mean, it's just over and over and over. And so when you tell them, or when they see something's coming, they're not even believing or buying into any of it.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
like, this is really strange. I don't It could go one or two ways here. I
Yeah.
mean,
And it starts to make sense why, when the era the aliens approached the government, right? That, like, had someone decided to tell all the facts, it wouldn't have just been believed. It would have been absorbed, and maybe there would have been an upset of a civil upset, but it would have found a way to adapt. But now we live in a world of the internet where people don't believe anything anymore. So yeah, AI and everything. How are you going to convince the world, like,
oh gosh,
that
no.
the government has your best interest while they're talking about this stuff? It's so weird. It's so, yeah. It's like they kind of waited too long or something, and now we're in a weird era where people don't even know what to believe. And now half of them or some of them are saying that's demons. So they're just confusing everybody. And yeah, and it's just awful. And I think it's not good, man. If they start going down the avenue of trying to say that this is bad or this is negative, this is like dogs communicating with each other saying humans are bad, and humans will take you, and you'll never see yourself again. You'll never see your friends again, because they take you and they put you into a home, and the other dogs don't know about it, so they've made you an enemy, right? And it's going to be something bad's going to happen. And yeah.
Mhm. Oh, for sure. For sure.
So,
And the thing of it is can we even expect anybody to do anything? That's the scarier part. I feel like
yeah,
after the last 5 years, people are turning their heads. They're burying them in the sand and they're
yeah,
not, they're not calling out what's wrong. And they're just,
yeah,
it's like, please just let me get on with my day. I don't need any extra. And I get that feeling. I totally
yeah,
get that feeling. But there's a
yeah.
lot going on. And if we're just going to sit and let it bypass on through, then I mean, we're going to be in a whole hell of a lot of trouble if we continue down that road too. It's
Y-
I don't even know. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
And I mean, it's in part, it's the phenomenon. The phenomenon
Mhm.
is too large. It's too big. It itself is too large. Coming from the future, other dimensions, possibly was here in the history of humans. Maybe humans have alien DNA already. So, like, it's like how, and never mind the psychological aspects of possibly rewriting our history, and then never mind that half the sciences, maybe if not all the sciences, are already, we don't imagine you don't need the sciences anymore. All the work that Albert Einstein did and Sir Isaac Newton and all the work all those other quantum physicists have done just so we can learn that another species was sitting there watching us do it, right? Is like, I think there's a big problem with, yeah. And again, it could have just been too much for the government to ever hold and take on. And yeah, so I don't know what's going to happen, man, but it's this is humans are going to change in the process. We're going to evolve is the bottom line.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Evolve, or we are gonna. I don't know. What do you think about the Great Reset and all that? Do you think that's still? I just think they're pushing us so close to the edge of that cliff there that
Right.
I don't.
Yeah. Well, the aliens showed me that there will be a cataclysm. So yeah, that's what until, and I found, my own evidence for it.
Think it's a
Yeah, I have a video.
polls.
Uh, I mean, the actual what causes it still is confusing to me. I have to admit, like, I don't really, yeah, it's something to do with the internals of the planet that change it, that shift it. Yeah. But that alone causes, destruction, causes, like, yeah, massive,
Look at the
massive,
weather. I don't know
massive
if you're
waves and
getting
stuff.
them like we are here, but the weather's insane. Like, it's completely bipolar.
Yeah, and well, we're getting extreme. We're already measured to have forest. Like, we're in BC, right? So there's lots of forests, and when they start going up in flames, forest smoke becomes normal in our summer, which is.
Oh,
I
yeah.
grew up here, and we never dealt with this. So yeah, now forest fire smoke is all like a normal, common thing. It's pretty awful, actually. Yeah,
Wow. Yeah, no, I
yeah,
remember hearing like a couple years ago, and I'm like, so Canada and the winds, like, is all
yeah.
coming. Yeah, but so what do you think's going on there? I mean, is this just like a controlled
Again,
burn or
this is what the aliens showed me. So on my 10th contact event in 1998, they showed me the planet going up in flames. Yeah, so it's
Mm.
like right in line, like more heat basically is what's going on. And I mean, yeah, I mean, you can just look at the science. There's more heat all over the place. So, and yeah, it's causing more fires. And so that was just one of it. Was the whole entire, it was kind of more metaphorical the way they showed me on a planet hologram. But the whole entire thing just like went up in flames. And it was basically what they showed me was a weakening of the biosphere. So it was air, water, and earth was like was
Mm,
shaking, and it was like as
goodness.
if we had taken too much from it, and it was weakening, and then it just goes poof, and the whole entire thing went up in flames. And I was 20,
Oh.
21. I was 20 years. I was 20 years old at the time, and yeah, and in these consciousness holograms, you feel it all. So it's not
Mhm.
just a little thing I saw. It was like I felt the earth go up in
Oh,
flames. It was like,
yeah.
"Ah," and then they rebuilt it. They rebuilt it. The aliens rebuilt it. The aliens took it.
Oh.
Yeah, that was the whole thing, was that they took the planet. Yeah.
When you
And
say that, that is so true. Like I've gone into like my cash and you feel it's like you are right there in that moment.
yeah,
It's crazy.
yeah, it's like a extra dimension added to holograms. So the two dimension would be just looking at it. The third would be feeling it. Yeah. So now it like
Mhm.
interacts with your spirit or something, right? Or maybe it's molecules in my brain. I don't know, but I felt it. And when you get all the memories out all these years later, it's crystal clear, right? That's the weird part of it. Like, they know, right? These holograms get imprinted into you, and they're like, it's as if I was there yesterday. Yeah, seeing
Mhm.
this hologram. Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Yeah, so they showed me too. Well, I've experienced three different kinds. There was the short grays. They started with them, tall grays, and
Yeah,
then ones that look like more like you and I. But with the tall grays, they took and they showed me how the holographic, like how they re-experience stuff. It's just all holographically like there, and it was just
right.
the interactions, and it was just like, but it doesn't affect the future. It doesn't affect time travel, or it doesn't, the way that they encapsulate that, but did how I guess what in your experiences was it just short grays, tall grays, or do you have like I mean there's so many different.
Yeah, there was a plethora of entities. So, the main alien I dealt with was a short gray alien, about a 4 foot tall gray alien that I call the Elder, and she was my entity, my main entity that I dealt with. And she had a weird shaped head. She had like a cone that went back and down angled eyes and a very pronounced chin. So she did have a very strange look to her. There were these kind of more medical beings, these tall medical beings that were there in different times. So I
Were
figured
they
before
I
that.
thought the tall grays were it was a medical bait also. Is that what you thought?
So when I dealt with them, it was so they're the ones who put the implants in, were these tall ones, and then there was several other medical scenarios, and they were always the one to deal with me directly. So they're the ones who put
Mm,
things onto me or did things with me if there's a medical situation.
that makes sense.
And yeah, and I could those are the ones that I felt genetically bonded to. Like they were pure stock gray aliens. Like they were more physical than the tiny ones, as if the tiny ones were more. I don't know, as if they were.
Yeah,
I don't want to
yeah.
say robot because that's not the right word, but regardless, yeah, I felt like the tall ones had real DNA and real were
Yes.
sure they
Yeah.
might still be suits, but they were definitely still more real, and that's what I got from the tall ones. Yeah.
That's exactly and I was free to move around there. The short grays, I was restrained, and they said it was due
Oh,
to
yeah.
contamination, but, like you said, I just did have you ever looked in their eyes?
Oh, that's the only way I could talk with them. Yeah, yeah, is
Is that
looking right
not
into
the
them.
the craziest thing that
Oh, it's humans. This is what like. Okay, there's almost a fight. People like don't want to call them aliens. They're like, no, they're not aliens because they're interdimensionals. I'm like, dude, you haven't interacted with one yet. They're aliens. It's
Yes.
so foreign to you. You don't even know what this is yet. That yeah, because when you're the way I like to frame it is being psychically enveloped. So you're not. It's not just looking into the eyes. The whole thing like it. You
It's
get
like
into
you're
its world or
seeing
something.
yes, that's
It's
what I
like bonding with
said.
something. I don't even know.
Ah.
Yeah, it's a weird.
It
It's
was like
intense
seeing
and stuff.
infinity is all I said. I said, like, you look and you're not you look through and you're in a
Mhm.
different totally different realm. It was just
Right, interesting. Yeah, I love it.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah, this
wow.
is not normal. My favorite is that Linda Moulton Howe has a good story of a guy. So she reiterated the story that some guy gave her, and I think he was a Navy SEAL, and so he said, "Okay, I was told to go into this room, and an alien's going to interact with you, and just accept anything that happens." And the guy's like, "Okay, whatever." And the guy comes in, the alien waddles in, so it kind of has to it doesn't walk properly in our gravity, and then he walks in. He said, "So you're supposed to listen to this thing and take in as much as you can from its eyes, okay, when it communicates to you." And he's like, "Okay, whatever." And apparently he passes out. So yeah, the alien like
Yeah.
gives him a download, right? And the guy can't take it, and he passes out apparently for 3 hours. So that's really intense. But that's what you're dealing with. You're dealing with, I call it psychically enveloping. And I think that they handle contactees a little bit. Maybe they're trying to be conscious, but this is what most of the communication was like when I was looking at them. It was intense. Like I always
Mhm.
frame it like that. You're looking at the eyes, and it's almost like pulsing or something sometimes, depending on what they're trying to communicate. But the telepathy would come through as these strong impressions, and it'd come through the eyes as you're looking into them.
Yeah. It's just
Yeah,
crazy. It
yeah,
is I like I say that, but it's probably one of the most I just I'll never shake that. I just remember
nice.
looking and I was like, it
Wow,
was so crazy. And then, 2, it didn't seem like when I was on the where I thought was more of a medical bay, the tall grays, there was a child that was there. And I
right.
didn't know, like, if I don't think it was I don't feel like that way, but when I think about him and it didn't even really make sense, but now, like, looking back, have you ever seen The Golden Child? Like,
Uh,
he looked like us, but yet there was some very distinctive differences.
no, is that a movie, The Golden Child?
Yeah, it's just basically about this kid and that he's protected, but it like, bald head. I mean, it
Right,
just is,
right,
like, so much like it, and I said,
right,
I
right.
don't think that they brought the children forward yet. I think that's gonna be a game changer
Oh, I don't. I was told the hybrids after the cataclysm. So yeah,
is
there's
when they'll
that's when they, and doing some more research, other contactees who have a lot of information that matches with mine. I'll reference it here. Alec Newell, his book Coevolution. Oh no, sorry, it was John Mack. This one comes from John Mack. It was actually another contactee who had a similar information to myself, that the aliens don't feel safe, and I think that's a big. I think that's a big thing going on here. And then the cataclysm, makes it safe for them. And then yeah, and that's when they put I was told cataclysm, and that's when they put the hybrids down. That's when they put the seeds down. They call them the seeds actually. So yeah, that's how they framed it to me. But that's the
that's
hybrids. Yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
Did you feel like you were going through, like, I felt like I was graduating, going through, like, what
Interesting.
I don't even know, and I've talked to other people, and it's, like, almost like it was, like, kind of a protocol. I started with the short grays, went to the tall grays, and then I went to ones, and in each individual, they were totally different from one another. They seemed like their purpose,
Interesting.
their intent, everything was completely different from one another. But yeah, it was like I said, I the tall grays, I felt like I was learning, and they were more medical, and, and then it was just kinda like it transitioned out.
That's
I
interesting.
missed that contact.
I definitely had that. I definitely just a different way it was done.
Mhm.
But I definitely had like a graduation. So I had like not a graduation, but I felt like I was one of theirs. That was how it all started. Was I was one of theirs, and so that's what they communicated to me at the age of 16. Right, you're one of ours,
Mhm.
and I felt it. I could feel I was bonded to them, and so yeah, I mean, they had quite a different procedure with me. So they did the consciousness thing in 1997, and I had contact. I was basically at that point, it just was a variety of different things that were happening to me. But by the end of 1998, I had a biological event. But once the biological event was done, there was a sense that I had, yeah, like graduated. I had completed something that they wanted of me, and I had done it successfully. And they were like, "Yay!" And there was a they didn't celebrate, but there was a feeling in their
Mhm.
hearts that they were putting out of like, "Yeah, you passed," and they were like really excited for me, and it was all in like just telepathic impressions, and then there were consecutive contact events after that where I'd felt different. I felt like I had changed when I was with them. Now I was
Mhm.
one of theirs, but I was like an adult version of one of theirs. Like there was really a weird, yeah, I was one of theirs as a teenager, and then they like graduated and matured, and now within their world, and now they had recognized that, and I could feel it as like an imprint when I was
Yeah.
interacting with them. It was really bizarre, and then I'll meet the leader. So then I met the what could be called the mantis, but I call it the I lean towards the controller species because I don't mine didn't look like a bug, it didn't look like a mantid, but he was in charge of the program, and so I didn't meet him until the 23rd contact event. So yeah, definitely was a progression of growth within the field or within the realm of the contact itself. Very
Yeah.
fascinating how that all happened and how they thought it through, and they're managing my psychology the entire time. So yeah, they were hyper aware of what was going on with me and
Oh, yeah, I
how to
definitely
grow
believe they're
you.
monitored, yes. Do you think that the tall gray that I came in it's kinda funny when I look back on it, when they took me out to show me how they simulated things, like, I was really worried, I was really stuck on the child the first time or my first
Right.
trip or what that I remember anyway. He was just waiting there, and that really bothered me, and I
Mhm.
remember saying, "Oh my gosh," in my head, like, "Come to my house, I promise you, be okay, you can play with my son, you look like you're around the same age." And then when I came to later, I thought, "You know what, you big mouth, you better be prepared if something," because I was, all that day, I was like, "Oh my gosh, is he," I didn't know. But then when the lady, I call her a lady, I don't know, she was definitely female who was in charge of the whole crew,
Right.
and the way that she was showing me things, but it was so funny because she's wearing this outfit that looked like it was like right out of the J.C. Penney's catalog, and this hat that had like roses. It was like the gaudiest thing ever, but you could tell like they were trying to kind of like fit in, or,
Emulate
for me to like,
human
yeah,
world or something. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. And I
yeah,
was like,
yeah.
you
I've
guys
seen
are
that. Yeah,
not pulling this off at all. You need,
yeah.
this is not happening. But yeah, I just remember that part of
Ben,
it. And anytime I asked something, I always
yeah.
got answers.
Ben's such a cool guy. Ben is
Oh,
everywhere. I love this
definitely.
guy. I love this guy, Ben. Yeah, I love this one. Yeah,
Benno
sorry,
was
just had
had really great things to say, and he was even talking about, your channel and then growing. I remember going back months
love this
ago.
guy. Yeah,
Yeah, he's awesome.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
I met Ben at Breaking the Silence. So yeah, he's a really good dude. Yeah, I'm
Oh,
always
you
happy to
met
see him.
him in person? Oh, how
No,
cool.
on Zoom and stuff. But they used to like we used to all be on community chats and stuff, and he was on a Zoom call there. So he's such a good guy.
Oh, very
Yeah, we
cool.
love you, Ben. So and I love to see him everywhere. So it's really good. Yeah,
Yes, yes, Benno, he really is. I said, when you have people like that, it makes all the difference in the world, and you don't have the trolls always, because Benno has done nothing but build people up. I
yeah, yeah.
really I
He's
really
really
feel
good.
like that. Yes.
Yeah, he's a really good guy.
Yeah,
Mm,
absolutely. That support, makes all the difference in the world. Definitely
awesome.
makes all the difference in the world. So what do
Awesome.
you think, I guess, in the whole high strangeness, so you've met the ones more like they look like the mantids, the short
Yeah,
grays, the tall grays. Are
yeah.
there
And
any
humanoids
oh,
too.
that's okay, yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
did too. Did they take you anywhere or show you anything, or
So the last series I just did, um,
Mhm.
the first humanoid I met in my contact events, um, was from Venus, just like George Adamski and Stranger at the Pentagon. So I put a lot of energy trying to unravel because I went to Venus. That's a weird part of my story is that
What did it
I
look like? I don't remember where they took me to. It's just a red planet, like a
well,
red
mine is the planet of Venus, like orange,
that's
like
yeah.
like orange yellow, like a yellowish orangish sky, basically. But I saw it. Like I flew the craft
Mhm.
there. So I flew the craft to Venus, and a humanoid was with me. And of course, at the time, I know nothing about any of this history or anything, and I'm just going through the experiences I'm going through. When I actually unravel the memories, I'm like, okay, this happened to me, and I don't understand it, but it happened. And then I put all that information out publicly. I still didn't know any of the background connections. The story had been public for about 5 years, and only last year, or maybe the end of last year going into this year, that I did a full video series, and I bought all the books about George Adamski yeah, Stranger at the Pentagon, and there were so many crossovers with this
Oh,
one
the Vale
contact event
Floor.
where I went to Venus, yeah, with a humanoid, and I'm fully convinced that I went to well, I knew I went to a city on Venus, but I'm fully convinced that this guy was a Venusian, not unsimilar to the George Adamski Venusian, or the Stranger at the Pentagon Venusian, and there was a lot of similarities, and I actually felt the essence of my humanoid that I met, whatever, 20 something years ago, in the descriptions of George Adamski's Venusians
Oh,
and
wow.
Stranger at the Pentagon. They kind of had the same heart and the same openness and the same cheeriness, unlike gray aliens. And like I just pulled out the memories and told my story, and my story has me with this cheery human who's very friendly and uplifting me and trying to be kind and nice. And that's exactly what George Adamski's Venusian is, and same with Stranger at the Pentagon. And I don't have that with any of my other contact events. It's such a strange little isolating
I know
moment
what you're saying. I know
that
exactly what you're saying.
it
I would say
validated
they're
for me
more
how
like
real it
you and
was.
I, but that's exactly what I mean. Like, the other
Yeah.
ones are very, it's not a lot of there's not a range of a very flat affect. It's
Yeah.
not like,
Yeah, flat
there's
affect,
no
yeah, good.
comforting. It's kinda like, "You got
Yeah, never
this."
comforting.
Like,
Yeah,
no.
never. Yeah. And there could be a feeling. There is feeling. I would feel like feeling is spirit, while emotion is chemical processes of the brain. So they can have feeling. You can't hurt their feelings. But even then, it's like okay, they'll express it, and then that's done. And then they change the channel to not feeling that way anymore, or something. Yeah, it's like they control their experiences differently in their world. Yeah, so it's unrelatable. Yeah, a flat affect was a good way of framing it. Yeah.
Yeah, oh, yeah, and I actually I was feeling something. I got a picture of the ones in the 3rd. When I say they're more like you and I, like, I went somewhere, the planet, it wasn't like a red, but it was like an orangish red, and I remember there were, like, caves or something
Hmm.
that's what it reminded me of, but there was nothing there to I could breathe on my own. And they let me look out. When I looked out, there was everything was mostly built inside it wasn't nothing really was outside on
Mm,
the surface that I saw. I always wondered, I'm like, where I should have asked where this place was. But
right.
so that's why when somebody else talks about it, I have to ask. I'm like, what did you
Yeah,
see? What did it
interesting.
look like? Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah, I have a whole video series on my channel, and I think it's like 20, it's 20 something videos. It's quite large. I went into so much depth, and yeah, I'm certain I astral projected, bilocated astral projection. So I was in my some kind of copy of my body in a thinner version. So they pulled my spirit out of my body and then they materialize you, which is bilocation. Some things I have experiences with a guru, and or like knowledge about with having a guru, and all that's in the video series. And then I was out in the open on Venus. So I was like as if I was in this body right here, but I
mhm.
was able to walk around, and I wasn't actually on the surface, but
So that
I
would
was
make
on,
sense. Is
yeah,
that
I
what
was
you're
like,
saying? There's like a body for a container, not necessarily us like this form. That's where we go, and maybe
it's
that's a gap.
it was like a projection. It was like my awareness was there, and but then they materialized a body that they could
Wow.
use and do biology with. So wrap that your head around that, right? I had a biological event with that body, and then it was out on Venus, out in the atmosphere with no effect, right? So like,
Oh.
how wacky is that? And that's the type of dimensional, stuff I think we're dealing with here is people who can aliens who can bilocate and materialize bodies and still have control of their bodies in certain environments. And yeah, so I draw a lot of research that points to all of the possibilities of these things. It's pretty fascinating.
That's awesome. Yeah, I would love to see some of your drawings.
Yeah,
Like I said, it just like it just it's so crazy, but yet it's like I think that there's so many answers between us, and the
yeah,
conversations just don't happen. You're, some experiencers, it's like they're the ultimate authority on everything. I can't stand that. I really can't.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like, I think we're supposed to be here piecing these, that's the way I feel anyway, like putting some of these pieces together. And
yeah,
I don't remember everything, and I don't definitely not going to claim to remember everything.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, if we're not working together here, I don't see where we're going. It's not gonna. This is not a one man band. Is all I know.
Yeah, yeah. I can just agree with you on all that. So yeah,
I know. I can't. I know. It's just some of the crazy stuff, and then too, like going through it, and just like some of the, it's so nice to talk to somebody who understands that level because you can't just go and
yeah.
ask or talk to anybody about this. They'll be like, "What
Can't,
are you
yeah. No,
talking?"
most people don't even understand it. They don't understand any of the pressures.
Ooh,
Only
yeah.
experiencer friends can get it, yeah. And the pressures and the stresses and the fights and all the kind of weird stuff that goes on in the background. Yeah, yeah, so yeah, it's just that's what we're up against. And listen, the compassion I always try to have is it's actually technically the phenomenon's fault. Right?
Yeah.
Right, technically,
Right.
if we're kind of arguing with each other, like it could be the one to solve the problem. It could it could give a contact event to that person you're arguing with, right? And it doesn't do that, right? So then
Yeah.
you're left with this hard reality that you got your world, they have their other people have their worlds, and there's just nothing we can do. And then you may have to look at it. Why would they do that? Maybe I always feel like, for us, our worlds are very personal and they're real and they mean everything for us. That's how we make our meaning in our world. But technically, what am I really for everybody else? Right. And I
Yeah.
am, except for the people who I love and who are part of my life. But technically, in this UFO field, I'm almost like a subconscious archetype. Right. I don't expect people to remember me nor remember my name, but they'll remember a guy talking about gray aliens the way I was talking about them, right? They'll remember those tiny, tiny details, or they'll see a video of me and they'll see me talking about maybe the afterlife and the gray aliens or something, right? And that's all it becomes an impression in their mind that is built up around all the information they take in about the UFO field. And so I've impacted their subconscious impression. And so I think we are all like archetypes in this kind of way. And that's so in the end, we just need to be who we are in this field and doing what we're doing. And then, you know, I think just impact the best you can, and then people, because that's all that's going on is people are just making up their own minds anyway, and they're all learning about the phenomenon, and everyone you can when you look at the social media, it's clear everyone's just trying to figure it all out, and they're drawing
Yeah.
from all the resources they can, even when there's someone who's acting with authority. people don't believe it anyway. So it's people are making up their own minds if they want that person to be an authority or not. And in the end,
Mm-hmm.
as long as your information is real and you're true to yourself, I think you stand out in the end of the day, even if there
Oh
was
yeah.
someone claiming to be an authority. So
Oh, I
yeah,
mean that happens
yeah,
all the time, and I'm like, if anything, I'll go back and I look back, and I'm like, I have grown since those initial experiences. I might see them a little bit different, have a different perspective on them, have more insight on them, but they haven't changed. But if you're
yeah,
coming on my show like 2 years ago and then you're trying to come on and then you're telling me that you're now like a training program for the ETN piloting and doing all these things that,
right,
and
right.
then your member is now an experiencer who never was an experiencer and you've flown there. And I'm just like, you
Yeah,
act like I
yeah,
have amnesia here. Like I'm
right,
not gonna
right,
keep regurgitating that. That is
right.
bad for us as a whole.
Yeah, yeah. I think there's a pressure. That's another thing I never put on myself is to make money from this field, to be something, right? I'm always
Right.
just Jeff Selver. It's all I am, right? I'm never this thing of that thing of doing this thing, that thing. I never call myself a star seed or any of this
I
stuff,
don't
right? You
either.
never see that from me. I'm just a guy figuring it all out for myself, never trying to make a buck, right? The book is for sale, but I have an MBA and I know that if you buy things, you value it. That's how money works. So yeah, I want you to value the book. That's what it is. But we're largely most of the contact events are all online anyway. You can find the majority of all the contact events online for free on the YouTube channel. And I link them in the contact playlist as well too, so people can get all this information for free. So yeah, I just
They
am.
can, but you're right, though. This is your time and this is your mission and energy. And we didn't make humanity like so you needed to live here and how, I don't think I brought the dollar to the table, but it's necessary. So I understand why, you're not like one of the
Yeah,
there's people that are really, really trying to profit off of this. And
yeah,
that I
there
think
is.
will be your
Yeah,
biggest downfall because
yeah,
it's not.
and I've had people like that trying to get in on this. I've had
Oh,
like promoters and stuff like that, and I'm like, okay, like I take orders from a orb flying around my home. That's like how it works here. So
right.
if you can't get with that, then you can't get with me. And they need, no, we need your social media to be like this. I'm like, they tell me
Mm-mm.
what to do. I don't go with this. And I know it sounds ridiculous, but that's like
No, I same thing. I had him
I
come at me with a book deal and everything else, and I was like,
right.
I just had to sign an NDA for 5 years, and I'm like, "I'm not gonna do that. I will
Right.
not do
Yeah,
that."
that's another thing I won't do either. I don't want someone else to own my information, largely
Mhm.
because I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I don't know if we will become a threat. We might become a threat, right? So some government might say experiencers are a threat or something. So
Mhm.
so I just don't know what's
Oh,
going to happen.
yes. So you
Yeah.
think like I do on that. Oh,
I
and you
think there
know
could be
what?
a period where that happens. I believe it. I believe these demon people are
Mhm.
thinking that this is. I think that they want that to. I actually personally think the people who are holding the information want us to be scared of it. That's what I
Mm.
think. I think they want us, and I think that the aliens don't want it. And then the government's like, how can we hoard all this to ourselves? Oh, we freak everyone out.
Yeah.
And I think that that's kind of something that they want. And of course, there's a whole bunch of serious people who are like, why would we do that? And they don't understand the core reason why they would, because there might be a cataclysm coming. So yeah, I think that so if you freak everybody out, then we become the targets. Yeah. So
Well, you know what? I was told, like, this is by Stephen Bassett not too long ago, and I've spent how many years hearing they don't care about the civilians. They don't care, and this is before everything was transcribed. We didn't see it going this far, and so you're out there. You kind of felt a sense of safety. I'm like, they don't care what we have to say anyway. Who
yeah,
cares?
yeah. I
So
feel
I
that way
just lay it
now.
all down there.
That's
But
right.
then,
That's how I feel now. Yeah. I feel like, oh, Canada, right? We were talking about earlier before we
oh
got on.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
in Canada. No one cares here. Right. Right. But if I was doing what I'm doing in the States, I'm aware that there's some forces
There,
that
you're gonna get
get
some
very,
pushback.
yeah, get
Yes.
very interested in this. Yeah. I know Chris, I checked out some of Chris Bledsoe's story and stuff. And I know that he does this orb stuff, but before he did, he said someone was on his property telling him to shut up and never talk about this again. And an orb showed up at that moment and freaked the guy out, apparently. So yeah, I believe that. I believe if because I'm doing that too, I'm able to call them and stuff. So
Mhm.
I imagine someone wouldn't like that who was in the know, but here in Canada, no one cares. So it's good.
Well, yeah, you think that, but then
It's
I was
true.
told by Stephen Bassett, then all of a sudden he's like, "No, there's a whole protocol that they're gonna come for. They're done with the, military experiencers. They're gonna come for the civilians." And I said, whoa, whoa, whoa,
Right,
whoa.
right.
Let's just back the train up. They didn't care what we had to say. And now that it's all transcribed and it's all like, the real reality of it was on Twitter. And when that AI came at me with, I mean, it listens to
Yeah,
every part of the show.
yeah,
Everything you say is out there and transcribed now. It's
yeah,
not, yeah.
yeah. Someone did a AI. Someone put it together a video on me, and it was another for another channel. My stuff's out there, so they can just do whatever they want now. They can just do that, and I didn't know about it. Someone showed it to me, and I'm pretty certain it was AI that like put it together because it was so detailed. It was better explained than I could ever have explained my story. It was succinctly done in 5 minutes. It was brilliant. I actually commended it, but it
Yeah.
also had information that was highly up to date. And I was very confused by that. This wasn't an AI that just read my book. It wasn't an AI that just scrubbed my website.
Mm-mm.
It must have been an AI that scrubbed my YouTube videos because it was
Yes.
so detailed with information that had just come out like a couple weeks ago. I was like flabbergasted. I couldn't understand how it all got pinned together by this, yeah, just and yeah, you feel very exposed. And but also I was like, okay, well, then if AI knows my story, then I guess I'm going down in history. Or like at least this stuff will be
Oh,
remembered
it's
beyond. Yeah,
written. It is definitely
it's
written in
written.
history.
Yeah,
I
written in
think you
stone.
do.
Yeah,
We all have this is pioneering.
yeah.
You have definitely have a piece of this. And
Yeah,
that's
we
the
all
part
do,
of it
all
that's
of us.
great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
because I
all
feel like
do.
we're
Yeah,
pioneering some of this. It's whether there's I was mad in the beginning that there was no protocols. I was mad in the
mm,
beginning, like of all that. But actually, like going through, I'm like, we get to navigate through this.
yeah,
We are the
yeah,
ones and we have one another, and that really helps. That really
yeah,
does
you got
help.
it. Yeah, they showed me in my 25th contact event, that was in 2016. I was 38 or something, I don't remember. And they showed me a book of the future. So this was when they
Mm.
told me, your memories are open, write it out, tell the world about what happened, what we did with you, and that we're coming. So that's why my story is called The Rise of
I
Man.
read about the Book of the Future today.
Ye-
When I was looking I did not know that exists, and I read about the Book of the Future, and I stopped and I sat for a minute, and I was like, "Wow, that's
Wait,
pretty cool."
so I don't know, like you don't mean from my contact events, right? Because I don't talk about it too much. It's only
No,
in
it
one
it pulled
video.
up on I should tell you, it pulled up on YouTube or on, excuse me, X's AI. It started talking about you and the Book of the Future.
Okay, weird. Okay, okay.
I can look
Who
it
knows?
up
Maybe.
right now.
No,
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 no.
I
It's
got
okay. No, it's not a big deal. But it's just very fascinating that you have that knowledge. Yeah. So
no, no, no.
maybe
Let
you're
me
right.
see what
Maybe
it
yeah.
actually says. Like, no,
Okay,
I didn't
okay,
know that it was. I have it kind of pulled up here. I'm just gonna turn it off because sometimes I freeze. But I
okay.
had no idea that wasn't really public. That you hadn't talked
It,
about it. I just
yeah,
assumed I
yeah. I
missed it.
never like. I don't. It's interesting. Well, like just while you're looking for it, I'll actually frame here that. So what I was shown from this book of the future. Yeah, this book that was basically gray alien future of like 500 years is what it felt like, and I was in it. So they were showing me that yeah, I'm in their future. I'm in like this is their future. I'm in the past. I'm like recorded in history from the gray alien perspective, and it was filled with a bunch of people who were impacting history at this time. So they were trying to motivate me, right? Like, oh hey, if you, all the work you'll do, you'll be recorded in history. So that's how they were motivating me. They were making it as a full imprint at that time in 2016. So yeah, so that's exactly what you're saying, that we're kind of at the cusp of it. And I feel like it's gonna 100% we will all be recorded in history at some point. So yeah.
Oh, definitely, definitely. I gotta find this now. That I'm like, wow. So it has to be because I had never heard you say that or talk about it before,
Yeah,
and I was like, oh,
interesting.
this is a new yeah. So
There
I
is
was
a
even
there's
so
one
funny.
video I can think of out that has it because it's from the 25th contact event. And I always feel like my first, the first years of contact were enough for me to just digest. Never mind the fact that they were here even in 2016 and giving me a 25th contact event. So there's so much detail and so many rabbit holes I could go down. I haven't gone down that rabbit hole yet publicly, only with one video for Vancouver UFO that has that video. And I talk about all the details of that contact event there. But yeah, that's it's very rarely ever talked about. It's interesting you have that.
Yeah, I was gonna make the thumbnail, and I was gonna put that as the. That's so funny that you say that. I'm like, I
Book of the
thought for
future.
sure, yes, the book of the future, and I was like, "Well, that's really cool." I'm like, "How did I miss this part of it?" But maybe maybe it's AI. I'm gonna just type it in here
And
because I had a
that
whole thing, and I always look into because I'm like, I'm trying to work with, and I shouldn't. I'm the first one to complain about AI, but Twitter's. I'm like, it knew too much. I was like,
yeah.
I got to probe this thing a little bit more to find
Yeah,
out, like, what the
I
heck.
expect it to know
Yeah,
too much, yeah. Now at this point, I expect it to know everything about me. Not everything about me, everything I put online.
I
So,
know.
yeah, and I willingly do it, so there's nothing else. I mean, it's all alien content anyway, so
Oh, yeah. No, I do too. I'm in over my head anyway, so I
yeah,
think that
there's that,
yeah.
yeah.
I was like, if there was a chance to turn back,
Yeah, yeah, that's not happening now, yeah.
nope, it's
Yeah,
not. So this is what it says. It says, "In including a genetic activation, screen memories, UFO sighting with videos, a lie detector test supporting it." That's how I heard about the lie detector test too.
oh, yeah,
He also received or downloaded what he calls here it says the Mystic Book, but I Book of the
that's right.
Future. Here we go. He witnessed the Book of the Future. He described during
Yeah.
his 25th contact event. It was presented by great alien history, but written from over 500 years in the future. It featured individual scripts, data packets focusing on would trigger a vision or holographic experience of the content. It says this
Whoa,
matches descriptions from other contactees like Jim Sparks, the Keepers, who interacted with similar interactive alien books. Let's see,
that's
contrast
interesting.
with, yeah, the Mystic Book. I don't know what sure that what is. The
That's
one
the other
he was
that's
given
the
to
download I
download.
got, yeah, I got it
Oh,
download,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, it's all right here.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
so X had that? So Grok, is that what it
Yes.
is? Grok is
Oh,
in
yeah,
that?
yeah. And I
Oh,
can,
interesting.
I'll go
I'm
ahead and copy but yeah,
flabbergasted
it's
by that,
all
that's
right
great.
there. It's all right there,
Yeah,
and I'm like, "Oh, wow." So that's how
yeah.
I found out about the Book of the Future
Very
was
interesting, I would bring that up here, and then you would have that, yeah.
yeah.
So weird, synchronicities like this all the time with us experiencers, so neat.
Oh, wow. So this
Yeah.
isn't really anything that you then put out in the public, it's something you just kinda talked about in this behind the
I can't even
scenes, and
think
then just
like, if it scanned my book, maybe if there's like if you have yeah, the e-copy of my book, it could maybe AI could have scanned it. Other than that, the one video, I can't even think of maybe the book got briefly talked about in my anyway, there's maybe one other video, but not to that detail. That detail is very specific about measuring against Jim Sparks. That I may have brought that
yeah.
up in the video that I talk about it in Vancouver UFO. So maybe the AI is that good. It scanned all those YouTube videos. It's just yeah, it's incredibly highly detailed and amazing. But yeah, it's a really good amount of detail it has there.
I'll ask him where I found the information because it's just showing it like like, where are you getting this?
So
Because
fascinating.
they did not before, they were not able to communicate between one another. Now AI is able to communicate. It says all the information in my previous response came directly from your official website, Jeff Selver, his book, The Rising, and related public materials. It's
Yeah,
on
it's
his site.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, explicitly describes the book of the future from his
Takes it
25th
all in one
contact
shot, yeah.
event. And then it quotes you. I
Yeah,
also witnessed the book of the future and 25th contact event, which was gray alien history, but written about 500 years in the future. It had individual scripts that were focused upon, provided me with a vision. It also compares it to Jim Sparks' experience of Keepers. Yeah.
that's
So that's,
trippy. Yeah, that's
I know.
and so what's fascinating about that too, right, is, so I'm overwhelmed by my own story, right? Like, it's just this is a massive, massive story. It's got all this detail, and I was public with it, and, I think I had my book launch, and Ian Halling was there, and Ian Halling is a great guy, and, he works with Linda Moulton Howe, and he kinda discovered me. He was the first kind of researcher to recognize that this was valid and something very important, and it's very interesting. I just mentioned this book without the book of the future without ever talking about it ever again. And then he did a write up for me during my book launch, and he said it publicly to everyone who was there. And he said, "Very honored to be part of Jeff's story and his whole path here." And he has 3 books that interest me. I was like, okay. And he said, "The Rising is very. This isn't just about the Rising. This is also about the Mystic Book, which is about this download and the spiritual guidance that comes from aliens. Very fascinating." But there was also a third book, the Book of the Future. And he said, and for whatever reason, that book I'm very captivated by. And I was like,
Oh,
oh, what a weird
wow.
thing to label out. And I didn't even, I'm too overwhelmed, not even thinking twice about, okay, what does it all mean? And now all these years later, the aliens have basically shown me how, you know, they're from the future. And like, this wasn't even part of my book, right? It's not in the story. It's from all the UAP contact and the telepathy and things that I've been able to get from them, and they are from the future. So all of a sudden, you know, my story makes a lot more sense because there was a timeline of my future events I saw when I was 16 years old. And then, yeah, the story ends with seeing the book of the future, and they're showing me the future in a book. Yeah. So
Oh,
this
wow.
idea of future content is all interlaced with my story, and I didn't even really like know or understand it fully. I just put it out publicly, didn't understand the picture, and now it's all kind of like coming together. The aliens are from the future, and
Mm.
yeah, and they were dropping hints about it in my story. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Jeez, that definitely did go full circle. That
yeah.
is
It's trippy. It's just totally. It is just trippy.
yeah, no, see, this is
It's
what
just
like,
trippy.
yeah, and X is
Yeah,
like that whatever their AI is roped me in because it started spilling all this info, and I said,
that's
"It even had a
nuts.
look I made on my face." And I'm like, "Well, now you're analyzing." Yeah, it said like I don't know, it's the look that I have, like, they said it's a part of my brand, and I was like, "A part of what brand? Like, what is going on here?" But yeah, it was that detailed, and I thought, "Really?"
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
wow, we're not ready for this.
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
not ready for this.
it's too much information going on here. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely, and then you think, "Man, so where does it go from here?" Where do you think that, like, in your I see that you're growing and doing all these great things. Where do you think that it goes, from this point forward? It really seems like something very strange is going on. I don't know exactly what it is. Nobody else can kinda put their finger on it, but it feels really, really off.
Yeah. So, do you mean where's it going for me, or where's it going for
I
us,
guess
all of us?
both, yeah.
Yeah. So, they told me, the entities told me, and they told me in UAP form. So, you know, this kind of orbs, and I can get telepathy from this stuff. I don't,
Mhm.
you know, there's a research paper, Eric
And
Davis.
telepathy is not always words, it's pictures. I got pictures, I got
Oh,
scenes, I
totally. Yeah,
got
it doesn't have
mhm.
to be clear English words. In fact, I would sometimes it has been, yeah, definitely, but it definitely, yeah, it's impressions or feelings, 100%. Um, they are going to be the enemy. So that's what they told me. So I am on edge
We can see that
something's
narrative taken off already.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's when I saw JD, you know, that vice president guy say that. I was like, oh, because they told me this about a year and a bit ago, and it was an orb form, and then they repeated it several times, like making sure I heard, kind of idea. And yeah, that they will be the enemy. So I'm on edge to get my information out, but you know, they actually kind of told me they again in telepathy, they kind of help with this stuff. You know, get your information out, but stay on the down low. So like
Yes.
just, you know, put it out. And it's almost like sometimes
Oh.
they kind of like make it, or I don't know, the universe sometimes just makes it a bit challenging. Sometimes there's something happens weird on social media that cuts off one of my videos, or you know what I mean?
Mm.
Something is always really weird. So it's like it gets out and then it kind of something pushes it back a little bit. It's always like that. It's a bizarre game. So it seems to get
So
out with
I
the
see
right
what you're
people.
saying now, like, that you could oh, boy.
Yeah,
Oh,
like there's
boy.
a weird game going on where it gets out to the right people. I feel like
Mhm.
I also have had my own personal experience where, you know, whatever is on YouTube or whatever's out there,
Sure.
sometimes it gets right into the right hands at the right time. It's a really weird
Mhm.
game. It's as if algorithms can be controlled by entities, right?
Ooh,
Like
yes.
yeah, it's
Oh,
like that.
yeah.
When I had my first when I had my the day July 1st, 2019, when I went to the location of a screen memory where I knew a screen memory was, and that was the day I learned I had alien contact. I literally came home, never searching anything about aliens on my YouTube channel, well, except for this UFO stuff I was looking at. But out of nowhere, what right on the very front of my YouTube, Apple TV, YouTube algorithm was a thing on screen memories. So it was like, what the hell chance is that? Like that day, I
I
literally
know.
went to a location about screen memories. I didn't look it up anywhere. I didn't like look it up. I didn't think anybody had that information. So I didn't think to look it up. And yet there was a YouTube thing, and I watched it. It was a 14-minute thing on someone's research on screen memories, and it helped me understand what had happened to me. So what the hell was that? That was a weird synchronicity, right? People have come to me with, man, your YouTube video came out in this one moment, and it was really helpful for me, and I needed to know that. And so it's like the information's there, and you get it out to a degree, and then something kind of, I don't know.
Pulls
So
it
it's like that
back
thing
is
pulls
what
it
you feel
back.
like?
Yeah. So it's like it's out, but not too out. And so they encourage that. They encourage to kind of stay low, stay on the down low kind of thing.
See, I don't
And
know if everybody understands, but when I look you up now, you'll pop up on a top 10 list right now.
oh yeah, my name will just come up right up with, and you'll get all
Mhm.
my you'll get everything. You'll get everything there. But if you search abductee, search Canadian contactee, I don't even know that I come up. I don't know how that information is organized now. Maybe at the time it was, and maybe with AI, maybe that doesn't matter anymore either. But it's something is weird going on with the information, the way it's being handled still for contactees online and stuff. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
I'll
but
once in a while go in and I'll be like, who are the most influential to see where, kind of track the information. Must be somebody coming out with new information. But
yeah,
you'll definitely pop up on like when I've gone through, I'm like, oh, it actually put you and James Gillian together in a group
interesting.
because I was trying, yeah, Maya, who's usually on tonight, Maya is an experiencer. And I was like, you know what? I want to find somebody that would be good for, and I was like, you popped up and I was like, "Oh yeah, Jeff would be perfect to have
Interesting.
back on." And so but right next to James because it said the two that I've had on my show, and I was like, "That's interesting."
It is
So it
interesting.
popped
Yeah.
right into my and I was like, "Oh wow." So but that was through AI. So you come up, and I don't know if they kind of keep it from the person, but you
Yeah.
definitely are up there on the list now. And I was like, "Wow, good
Yeah.
for him." I'm cheering you on because we need some
Thanks.
good names and voices and some truth to be told in
Yeah.
all this.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe AI is changing the game. That might be a little bit of it too. Yeah. Maybe it's very easy for people to search alien stuff, but there's something weird still going on. The way it's being handled is very bizarre, and I feel like I'm on the down low. I personally feel like I'm on the down low, but like I guess I
Oh,
see.
yeah, now that you're saying you're on the Jeff, you are not on the
I
DL.
guess I'm not. Yeah, I guess I'm not. Yeah, and that's kind of a weird feeling about it. It does feel like I am on the down low, but then yeah, you're totally right. But I don't know. I don't know how to handle that. But yeah. So that's that anyway. I have this kind of feeling that something's gonna happen there. And the other is I just always feel like we're on the it's the end game. I've actually said this several places now. I feel like we're in the end game. And I feel like we were supposed to be in a different place. There was a different timeline, quote unquote, and how it was supposed to go. And now this is where it's at. And
I agree.
I feel like in our lifetime, we're going to see, I think it's going to be quick. I think once it all starts, it starts. And it's the aliens are in control. And yeah, it's like that. I'm pretty certain
I think
something's going to happen.
something is gonna happen. We can't
Yeah,
keep
it's going to
going, and going
keep
down
going
the same
like this.
road.
Yeah.
It's yeah, it is something's gonna go something's
What
gonna
I'm concerned for the most about how it moves forward is the government doesn't even really tell us fully, and they go into their bunkers.
I know, I know.
And they don't even tell us, because I think that there's a human history element to this. Humans are actually have a lot of alien DNA in us already.
Mhm.
Those are elements to it. Never mind from another place. But and I think that those aliens wanted us all to know, and I think that they're the ones trying to hide and run and stuff, and then that could be a total disaster if the billions of people on the planet don't even know the full story or don't understand it all, while this thing is coming in to start doing stuff with us.
And the stuff that they've dropped in all defense, they called parasites. They've been called, I mean, that's not going to leave those people that have an active, like, mental health issue or imagination.
Right.
That's not going to help
Right.
them through this. Those are the people. That's the few that
Or the
hold up the many.
demons, the demon part
Oh,
too,
I
like that's
know.
like, and I almost every little social media
Oh,
thing I
God.
look at, like I see a Facebook or an Instagram UFO, and someone calls them fallen angels, someone calls them demons. It's very common, and that's what I think is like, these are the big problems. Because if you start
Oh,
having that thing in your environment and you call it that, these things don't want to be around us for that reason. This is kind of what I'm aware of. They don't want this type of stuff. These are telepathic. Just put two and two together. They can feel your thoughts and feel your feelings. So they have no interest in this type of behavior from humans, right? So
right.
it's yeah, we're going to be in some problems.
I could not agree more. And it is too. It's like they're gonna get us, and that's why I say if you can't handle this, stay at. I think that a huge, but prior to like the 2020 whole crazy, or not, excuse me, the 20, yeah, but 2020. I had a little bit more faith in how this whole thing. I thought that the majority would, and when I saw what happened, I saw how it was handled. It just didn't make me feel very safe either. So I'm with you on that. But you really do like, and I don't know how Canada is, but I feel like in Canada, my buddy Paul lives up there, Shishi, and he experiences them. You'd be a great person to come. I don't know exactly where he's at up there, but he said that they were monitoring stuff so closely that when he wrote something, it was during the COVID time, mind you, though. But he wrote something. He said the government was coming, and if you liked Fox News or anything like that, they were coming and they were looking for them in Canada, and he was really worried about that. And then he said that
Which I've
too,
never
like,
heard of that before. I
yeah.
haven't heard of.
Oh,
I've
you've
never
not?
heard of that. Yeah, I don't know. I know people like I have a work environment and stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard of that type of monitoring. Yeah, I've never heard of
Okay.
it.
And
Yeah,
maybe too, like I don't know, like it was his take on it, but a lot of things were going on. Is like everything started to collapse in his life, and I'm like, that's the true experiencer way right there, Paul. They're
right,
gonna
right.
everything's ripped from you because you're gonna realize that those material
Yeah,
things don't really matter in the grand scheme
right,
of things.
right.
But it's not the awakening process. It's growing pains are real. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, and I don't fully. I think people they use these labels, but I don't think they know fully what they're talking about. As a person who
Yeah.
has a Sadhguru who knows how deep this stuff, the spiritual element can go, I don't think of that as an awakening. I think of that as the recognition of, I mean, yeah, you're born into a world that was a human attempt to make capitalism. That's what capitalism is marketing and fitting in so you can have a job and career and all this stuff, and then giving you ideas, and then we're almost at the end of I'm calling it the end, but it's decades into it in our society to the degree where you're sold all the time. And
Mm.
it's outrageous, and marketing is brainwashes people, totally does this. Yes, but this is our world, and to be free from that doesn't mean you're awake. Yeah,
Mm-mm.
so yeah, awake is still another whole other. I don't even like the word, but yeah, spirituality.
It became so political. I don't
Yeah,
like it either. I'm
yeah,
like, I
I
don't
think it's
know how
political is
else
what it
to
is.
call it, you
Yeah,
know?
I know, I agree. Yeah, I see these words tossed online, and I'm not really clear what's people are using them for. But yeah, but I think that's what the rising was my removal from society to discover who I was. That's why I traveled like that, right? So that's the depth of it. Is what you're kind of we are shaped. Our ideas, our mind, everything is shaped by the world that we're in. And yeah, you want to get out of that a bit to figure out who you are. I agree. That's exactly what every human should do. So yeah,
To
yes.
figure out, yeah, that's the $1,000,000 question. Who are you? But is that why we're here? I guess is that, what do you think? Like this whole, because it does seem like they've gone to a pretty lengthy degree to monitor some of us. Like I was in the gate program. I was like my blood, like it's always been weird for me. So
Mhm.
I'm just wondering why, like some people have the theory that the disruptors, people they can't control, and maybe that's why you're monitored so closely here,
Mm,
or, for whatever reason. I was always told too, like they don't follow the phenomenon, they follow the people who are
right,
experiencing it, which is really
right.
telling all in itself, like with it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I always feel like with the phenomenon element, it's because the phenomenon doesn't interact with them. So, or if it does, it's it's behaving a certain way. So, like, I feel like I've had enough experience with the phenomenon to understand it's coming from a space that would be equivalent of masters.
Mm,
So, like, they even treat the UAP sightings with me. When there's a UAP sighting, they'll treat it in a way that's aware of my ego or aware of what I'm trying to get out of them or aware of intentions. And I can't even imagine the way they handle the government. And
yeah, I know.
I often believe that the way they handle the government is a reflection of how it broke out the way it did. Because I think that the government was like, you're in charge of the people. You need to tell them this and tell them that. And then the government's like, oh well, we want technology, we want this, we want that, and they're like, whoa. Well, you need to grow up and be evolved and all those things. And they're like, yeah, how about that later? How about tell us this other stuff? And you can imagine the two minds not really kind of like, you know, rubbing against each other. And I think that there's some elements of the phenomenon that are just really hard to wrap your head around. And so the government, I think, was always kind of really weird about it. That's my guess, is that they were always, that relationship didn't form properly, and they really connected with individuals who were developed enough, right? The phenomenon did. That's what contactees were, right? Some kind of version of contactees who could grow up, or at least understand, or be involved with this from birth or from young age, so you'd be able to be developed into it. And then I think that becomes very valuable to the government people. And apparently I have heard of that there were times where the military were trying to follow contactees because they wanted to know what the aliens were doing, because the aliens wouldn't tell them. So yeah, I believe that was a real deal thing. So yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Wow. That's Jeff, you really are amazing, and your take on stuff. And
Thanks.
how do you
Mhm.
stay so grounded? How do you stay so grounded through this?
Meditation. Yeah, I meditate twice a day.
Do
Yeah.
you?
And yeah, and I have so yeah, the spiritual stuff is, I think that matters. So I follow a tradition, and I feel like the tradition is grounded. And it's a lengthy tradition going back thousands of years, and gurus are grounded. Gurus work, right? They're not all the Western ideas are all garbage, of ashrams and all this stuff. I mean, those are real, but real gurus are, they're people who were embodied with a spiritual power that's passed down to them, and then they live out their life in society, and then they display behaviors that reflect their power. So they're not, you're not worshiping someone who's a guy who figured something out. This is a tradition, and then that tradition is grounded in the depth of spiritual learning that is unlike anything the new age stuff comes out with. So it itself is grounded. Vedic philosophy is grounded. I'm
Oh,
immersed in Vedic
yes,
philosophy.
yes. I
Oh
forgot
yeah,
that
and
you
that's the
love that.
meditation practice I have, is a Vedic meditation practice. This stuff is, I feel, when the aliens come, this is the stuff they're going to use. This and Buddhism, I think the aliens really love Buddhism, and I think the bhakti of Christianity, the worship, I think they love all the religions. As long as that religion is not, turning against other people, which sometimes humans do that. But I
Mhm.
think the aliens are spiritual entities, and then they end up loving these kind of more spiritual, the truth of some of these spiritual traditions. And yeah, there's something to be said about Vedic philosophy, and I meditate twice a day, and if I'm not doing alien content, I'm focused on that. So that is a grounding for me, and I think it keeps me in a space where I know the differences between handling this extremely large content, and the balance between uh, meditation for my mind and those boundaries. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
think that my meditation practice helps with that.
You know what, as weird as this sounds, I said, I can tell if I don't do a show. I don't feel as grounded. And people are like, Doesn't that make you?" And I said, "No. After I'm done, I feel the most grounded that I
Mm,
have felt. Like, it's
that's
like I'm
interesting.
doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
the
it's your
only."
purpose. You're
Mhm.
feeling it. Yeah, I feel that. I feel that way from these talks. I do, and I feel that way from putting out content, UFO content. If I get a good video series out, yeah, there's like a release, or like it comes out from my heart. This feeling of release, or a feeling of groundedness, security. Yeah, it's like I'm doing the right thing. Yeah, I know that feeling.
Oh, yeah, it just when you're doing, and that's just it. It doesn't matter what society says. I guess it doesn't matter to let all that other stuff go. It is hard. It is hard to sit there
Mm.
under the scrutiny of it all and be like, "Yeah, yeah, keep talking and doing what
Totally.
I
Yeah.
hope that you don't trip when you're leaving here, and I wish you the best of luck." But it's like, okay, I'm supposed to take this higher road.
Right. Right.
Yeah, it does. But you're right. That thick skin otherwise you won't make it. You won't
Yeah,
make it out of the.
that's the meditation
Mhm.
part too. Is, yeah, you're just, yeah, you're I think discerning between, your spirit, your emotional mind, right? The thoughts, excuse me, the thoughts that you're having, those things are all determine how you respond emotionally, right? And
Mhm.
meditation just helps with that practice. So yeah, yeah, like, people do not know what I've endured behind the scenes, and you might, as another experience, you
Yeah.
might have some kind of grasp of it, but yeah, behind the scenes, like, I just put on a smile. And I think that's the difference. I don't complain on social media about anything, and though there is things to complain about, um, I
Right?
don't. Yeah, I don't put any of that baggage online at all. and that's because that's what the meditation does, and that's what all this that's what working on yourself really is. Yeah.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
absolutely, without a doubt, and that's well stated and well put. And I try to keep my stuff too, because there is so much that goes on behind the scenes, especially when you're in this. I've got my own battles with even law enforcement calling me a conspiracy theorist over this, but I won't back down.
Right.
And
Right.
it's like, but I try and I keep that as far as I can. But then it's like, when those strikes come out, it's like, you don't want them to be used against you either, because I've also had that happen. But it,
Right.
it really is like I can't even imagine what your day to day life is, because I know with all of us, there's a sense of chaos or the sense of an energy. First of all, if you can't really, talk to your neighbors or anybody else about it, it's in itself, it's
Yeah.
complicated. It's very
Yeah.
complicated. But I like
Yeah.
the fact that you're able to do that and stay so grounded, because it makes other people feel safe.
Yeah, that's good. That's very good.
But I don't want you
Yeah,
not to
yeah.
have anybody to talk to either. Like, you can reach out at any time if you need to vent. I didn't say a word. But
Thanks, Chloe.
yeah.
That's nice. Yeah. No, it's what they did with me, right? It's what they did. It's so I had this crazy consciousness thing. I put a lot of the information out online so people can find it for themselves, but there was a very specific book that triggered it, the bunch of information that triggered it, and then I went and traveled, and at that point, no one could understand me. So I was grounded in the experience I had because it was real. So, and the aliens made it happen. So it wasn't a head trip. It was something that was of another dimensional experience I was awakening to. And it was part of my
Mm.
spirit. So I was grounded in it. So I was up against right away being, a black sheep, right? I
Oh,
had
yeah.
something wacky happen, and I struggled then with it at the time, but it's all in my book actually. By the 16th contact event, I'm literally saying no one's going to ever understand me. I'll never be understood. And so yeah, and 2.5 years into traveling, I met my to be wife, and though we were in love and it felt like spiritual love, like we were deeply connected, but even then I was crying at times personally because I was in discordance by what had happened, not knowing it was alien contact, but it actually altered my life and I was deeply affected by it. And I spent a couple years, like every now and then, maybe every couple months, I would cry about it, and I'd try to get my partner to be involved. Can you understand this? And she couldn't.
Mhm.
My guru, at one point, I had a private meeting with my guru, and I was like, this thing happened to me, I didn't understand it, like no one could help me. So I was like, that's back then,
Oh, yeah.
2005. So then by the time you're 2008, you're starting to put it behind you. By the time it's 2020, or by the time of 2016 or something, you're not even thinking about it anymore. And then they unleash it all. And so I'm already embedded in me with something about people won't understand it fully. So, and yet, yeah, there's something here where, because it all is all involving real afterlife, seeing the afterlife, having an advantage, or having a really profound spiritual experience that's grounding in my heart, and then having the guru training, or having that guru helping with the training of mind and consciousness and thoughts and all that stuff, then yeah, it ends up being a strength amongst a avalanche of, yeah, resistance that's around you. Yeah. And fighting and saying no, I'm going to do what I know. I'm actually so embedded knowing uh that this is my truth, because I traveled, because I had that prior experience. It embedded in me, when you follow your heart, this results. When you, especially around this stuff, around aliens, it doesn't even sound right for people who are not experiencers, that there's a spiritual element to it, that it's truth, right? It's a truthful
Mhm.
spiritual experience. So I know that this is going to result in something that will benefit me, benefit the world, and and it is right for my spirit. So, and I'm embedded with it, I'm grounded with it, so I'm just punching through all the resistance and all the things that happen. And even though, yeah, you feel like giving up, you feel like fighting and giving up, or not fighting and giving up, you still always come back to it and say, no, 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 you got to just keep doing it. And you always find the glimmer of light that you love in it. And that's what it is. I always find that glimmer. Yeah. So
You
yeah,
remember why you're in this.
yeah,
Yes.
remembering why you're in this. Actually, always something. I'll always want to leave this, and then someone on social media or someone says something, and reignites the value of it for how it's helping them, and why it's so beneficial. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and your work, like, you don't hear it. You don't get to hear the positive stuff enough back. I get that, but being an outsider and I'm seeing it, and like Jeff, you really are. You're building a great name for yourself. You're building a.
Oh,
I
thanks,
mean, it
Coley.
really is
Yeah,
nice to see, and I'm like, man, unlike some of the other people in this community, get happy and excited when I see good things happen to good people. But it's it's like that hey, don't let that even stop you because those people are going to be there no matter what. Tells me
yeah,
you're doing something right in this is
yeah,
all that does.
yeah.
But
You got it. You
there
got
is
it.
some major consequences. I was just telling the chat that I'm not even this is not even a joke. I have been taken against my own will in a medical facility where I was locked behind locked
Right,
doors, saying
right,
that, and I was the only one that had all my faculties. I was a mental health therapist for 7 years. I know the difference, and my own colleagues turned on me over the ET stuff.
right,
I mean, they're the
right.
ones that had to sign, and I said, "This is the problem with society." But I have, and I'm not ashamed of what had happened to me, but this is how serious I take it. When I'm
Yeah,
seeing things or people say, it's just like, it's not funny to joke around about, especially when you've had to sit there and you're held fully accountable and at the fullest extent. And then, you're listening to them say, oh God, this is someone who's crazy now all of a sudden, who can't feed or dress or home themselves. And I'm like, you think I got here? But this is
yeah,
how it's so easy, especially like I just feel like in now times to jump on that. So we need to protect people like our
yeah,
own. Or if something were to
yeah.
happen, Jeff, I hope you know that you can call and like we need to have
Well,
like some sort
thanks,
of
Coley.
response. I wish we were here. Yeah,
Yeah,
but I'll find a
yeah,
way to you. I'm good like
yeah,
that. But
yeah. You got it, Coley. Yeah, same here. Same here. You got it. Yeah. Yeah, I give credit to the Experiencer Forum, which Connor runs the Experiencer Forum, and he's one of them moderators. So on Reddit, and it's a great place that they monitor to allow contactees or experiencers to vent or talk. Or yeah, it's one of the best places. Excuse me, one of the best places on the internet. And so yeah, I find that a really good space to converge and share emotional issues
oh,
that
that's
happen for
cool.
experiencers. So yeah, just one of the there's not a lot, but other than the experiencer podcasts like yourself, which I love all you guys. But the forum has this ability to for people to have they could have trauma and they could put it there, and then the moderators like protect the person from goons
Oh,
who
that's
want to troll them.
awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
That is awesome. What do you have the name of that site? I would love to. It's on Reddit, right?
Yeah, you just go to Reddit, experiencers. That's it. It's the experiencer forum. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
it's probably my favorite place because they protect it, because they actually do a good job at getting rid of the trolls and stuff. So people can get very exposed and very open about what they're going through as an experiencer there. And I see a lot of content of just people trying to digest and sift and understand what happened to them. So it's one of the best
It's
places.
yes, and then just to think
Yeah,
that could be I never thought in a bazillion years that that could be a possibility or that would be a cause and effect of any of this. I did not think that was humanly possible to do to
yeah,
somebody until I did, and so that is awesome that there is something like that out there because experiencers definitely need that. They need that
yeah,
vent, and you
yeah,
too, like, when you're under the public eye and you're considered, going out there, people are watching, and you
yeah,
go off or on a tangent
yeah,
or have a bad day, let me tell you, you're gonna be finding yourself every which direction, and it's
yeah,
not a fun place to be, it really
yeah,
is not. So
yeah,
that's amazing. Thank you for that. I'm gonna check it out.
yeah,
And then
definitely.
too, I really wanna thank you for coming on and
Yeah, Coley.
doing this. I always I said, the Jeff shows are good for the soul. You just bring that back and refresh that back because some
Nice.
of this, when it gets so crazy or so wonky, it's just like,
Yeah,
why am I doing this? What am I doing here? But I do remember why I'm in this to begin with. Um,
nice.
Tell people
Yeah.
where they can find you.
Yeah, you got it. So yeah, my name is Jeff Selver. My website is www.jeffselver.com. My book is The Rising and the Alien Plan to Build an Enlightened City on Earth. So my website, yeah, that's the spelling of my name, JEFFSELVER, and that's my website.com. You can also find me on YouTube, just putting my name on YouTube. I have my own. I largely focus on YouTube as my channel, and I talk a little bit on Facebook as well too. And I do have Instagram. I do have Twitter or X, And yeah, those are my channels. But everything can be found on my website, www.jeffselver.com. Right at the bottom are all of my social media links. Everything's linked there. So that's my kind of main space. Everything, you can get everything from my
And
website.
AI is keeping a close contact on you.
Yeah, it's keeping a close eye. That's it. Yeah. AI is
Oh,
keeping a close eye.
man,
Yeah.
I did not.
Yeah.
That's funny when you said that. I was like, "This is
Yeah, that's
crazy,
interesting.
crazy."
It's getting
Yeah.
really wild with AI. Yeah. Hey, and I actually asked. I was curious if AI thought I was legitimate, and AI is like, yeah, he passed lie detector test, and he. So I
Yeah,
actually I
yeah.
tried to figure out what AI thought about me, and yeah, it believed me. I loved it, but then it also said alien contact can be subjective, so it doesn't know if it was really real. Like it didn't know all the other details, but that's normal for alien contact. I was like, oh, okay. And it actually had a very liberal, open-minded perspective of me. So I
Isn't
thought that
that
was really good.
crazy? That's
Yeah,
awesome, though. They did when
yeah,
I looked it up too, it came with all of that. It's like 'cause I didn't know that you had, taken a lie detector test,
that's right.
and then
Yeah,
it said, yeah, yeah, he passed, and I was like, "Oh, well, this is even cooler." So, I didn't know that all that had happened, but yeah,
yeah.
it's AI's got it. They're
The
definitely
AI's got
calling
it. Yeah, I think so.
it,
Yeah,
which is good for you. I mean, that it
yeah,
does,
that's good.
add that level of credibility.
Yeah, you got
Um,
it. Yeah,
yeah, so I just wanna thank you again. What would you
thanks,
like to
Coley.
leave the audience with before
Um, it's always part of the story for me is so you're all God, right? That's the idea. We're all part of the universe. The universe is in us, right? Love is in us. The permeating universe permeates through every single one of us. That's where you get your awareness from. You are God, God, the whole living universe, and we are aspects of that consciousness. And if you don't believe that or know that, I recommend making that your life mission to figure that out. So
Oh, definitely. We are all one. We are of the same consciousness. I said we're
yes.
like different appliances plugged into the same outlet,
That's
electricity.
right. Yeah. Or the power center is the universe,
Mhm.
and then yeah, you got it. The light, all the light bulbs are all of us. Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, yeah. No,
Yeah,
I agree. I agree.
yeah,
So yeah, definitely be
yeah.
good to one another. Well, again, Jeff, thank you so much, and I would love to. I'll be in touch to have you get back on.
You got
You're
it, Coley.
awesome. You're
Yeah. Thanks for
awesome.
having
Cheering
me.
you on.
Thanks for doing all the work you do as well too. You do such amazing work putting
Oh,
people out
thank
there,
you.
and I know this is your mission also, so I commend you for it. So good job.
Thank
Yeah,
you. I appreciate that. I really do.
yeah. Awesome, Coley.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, have a good night and enjoy the rest of your week. And we'll be talking to you soon. Oh gosh, Jeff is so great. I know that when I first started up at SNX, I was on other podcasts, obviously, but I stumbled upon Jeff and I was like, man, he has got some great stuff. He is so grounded. He is so different in a great way. So I definitely, if you have not checked out his channel, if you've not checked out his work, I definitely recommend doing so because he really does. He's got some big things. He's doing wonderful work and he really is a good person. He really is. And Benno, you could not be more spot on about Jeff. So yes, he definitely, yeah, I like Jeff. I really do. And experiencers, it's like when you can come around or one of your own, it is the best experience. It really is. It's a freeing experience. And to sit with somebody who can understand so much of it is amazing. So I never take that for granted. Two, I wanted to before I don't know why StreamYard's doing this, but I'm a little bit stuck. Yeah. So I'm gonna Blazer, I'm trying to hit the thank you for the super chat. But I cannot. Can you possibly if you're in here? It's not even letting me scroll through, so I don't know what this. Yay! Thank you. And thank you, Blazer. So we have 5 new members and of the Woo crew. I'm the Galactic Rebellion, whatever you want to call us. We are that. So welcome, welcome. And on that note, everybody enjoy the rest of your week. We do have on Wednesday. Yeah, we got some great stuff coming up. So just wait. I'm gonna go ahead and I'll post those tonight and get all of the guests updated. But yeah, we got a big week coming up, and I think you guys are definitely going to be loving it. So thank you so much again for everybody who tuned in. It's all because of you. If it weren't you, none of us would be doing what we're doing. So thank you for taking the journey into the unknown. I'm Coley, also known as Coley UFO, and this is SNX Radio, and we are signing off for tonight. Be good to one another.
He said, ain't lying, UFOs in the night.